Hello and welcome to our series on learning how to do amigurumi. Amigurumi is typically crocheted, though it can be knitted, and almost always in the round. In this series we're going to talk about some tips and tricks, different kinds of filling that you can use for your amigurumi, hook size, and a few other things. So to get started, let's talk a little bit about your hook size. In many cases your pattern will dictate to you what size your hook needs to be, but if you are a little bit more familiar with your own crochet tension, that will help. Typically with amigurumi, you're going to be wanting a hook that's a little bit smaller than the size that you would usually use. For this I'm going to be using a 4mm hook and DK weight yarn, which is about 1/2 millimeter smaller than I would usually use. This is in order to keep the amigurumi nice and tight and keep the filling from showing through the stitches. When working in the round with crochet, you're probably also going to want a stitch marker. These are the AddiLove stitch markers, if you're wondering. The stitch marker will help you mark the beginning of the round until you're more familiar with how crochet looks when you're working in the round. There are a few different kinds of toy filling. There's standard synthetic toy filling, which is very common and commonly used for children's toys, among other things. It's hypoallergenic and machine washable, which is a good choice for parents. There's also the option of using old yarn ends from projects that you don't have anymore, or projects that you've finished and you have little bits of yarn left. You can chop them up and use that for filling. It's not quite as filling or sturdy as polyfill, but it's a good eco-friendly alternative. Some people also choose to put beans at the bottom of their amigurumi to make them sit up straight. Basically, if you can fill it up, you can use it. So for this we're going to also talk about doing the magic ring. The magic ring is used in most amigurumi patterns as a beginning because it leaves no hole. It can be a little bit tricky, but we will have a video about that coming up very shortly. So if you're wanting to learn some amigurumi, stay tuned and have a look at the other videos.